I'm going to hand you off to Dave Myers, who is our, excuse me, our offering manager on the product management team from Machine Learning and Services in CA Mainframe Operational Intelligence. He's going to kick us off, and we'll go from there. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Glenn. Yeah, so I just want to take 5 minutes to just make sure everyone is aware of what we're doing and why we're doing it, right? So in general, what we're trying to help you do is use things like machine learning, use analytics, use all that data that you're currently bringing together to help you avoid this kind of situation. You know, what we keep seeing over and over is these IT incidents that end up as front page news. You know, a couple months ago, you know, there was a big incident in Europe. A couple months before that, you know, there was processing that went offline that caused a lot of unhappy customers. You know, months before that, it was airline systems failures. So what we keep seeing is that there's more of these failures, there's more of these outages, there's more frequency, as well as longer duration. And this is ultimately impacting the business. It's causing a lot of downtime, is causing a lot of loss. But not just downtime, even slowdowns, which are probably more common on the mainframe than downtime. You know, this is impacting our business in terms of brand, in terms of trust with our customers, in terms of lost revenue, in terms of regulatory fines, or in terms of upset customers who are now in a position where they have power to go to another company very, very easily. And so, you know, these are the kind of things that we're trying to avoid. But if you go to the next slide, you know, there's reasons for this, right? It's the systems that we're currently using are sort of at their breaking point. And a lot of it just has to do with data and complexity. You know, we look at stats such as, you know, over the last 12 months, an analyst did a survey. There's an 88% increase in volume and velocity of things like metrics, of logs, of events. You know, we're at the point where it's just too much data, too much complexity, you know, too many different organizations out there who have to help maintain these business services. You know, we all want to be proactive. We all want to get ahead of it. We want to make sure that nothing impacts our customers. But it really comes down to it's just too much to handle on our own anymore. The systems that we have are at a breaking point. You know, as a result, it just takes too long to access the data, to analyze it, to figure out what's going on and where that root cause may lie. You know, we see stats like on average 4.5 hours in terms of when that incident occurs. It just takes a long time to address that. You know, for a lot of our mainframe customers, if this happens on the mainframe, 4.5 hours is millions upon millions of dollars of revenue that's potentially at risk. And ultimately, you know, we're trying to go through all this. It's taking a long time. A lot of these impact our customers, and that's ultimately what we want to avoid. You know, we're notified too late. It takes too long just because there's so much. We want to avoid customers finding these things and address them proactively, address them faster, and address them given the course and speed of what our systems are driving us to do. So if you go to the next slide, Srini. You know, within CA, we're bringing multiple different solutions to bear on this. You know, there's one, which is we're taking the existing tooling that you've been using for several years, such as SysView and NetMaster. We're embedding analytics and embedding machine learning into those products themselves. You know, this is really to help you move forward, you know, give you that stepping stone to some of the more advanced pieces. You know, we have standalone offerings such as Mainframe Operational Intelligence. You know, this is where we're adding some more of our advanced capabilities and trying to move, you know, to more of an AI ops type of platform. And finally, we have things like dynamic capacity intelligence, which is giving you more of an automated way of dealing with some very specific domains, specifically around capacity and workload management. So just giving you a little bit more detail on what those three areas are. You know, with SysView and NetMaster, these are things that you've probably been using for several years, right? We're actually embedding machine learning into that, you know, so it's right there as part of your entitlement, right there within the tools you actually use. And in here, we focus on, you know, for that specific CA product, collecting, analyzing, deriving automation off of the things that you find in there today. You know, it's a step up from 3270 to help you visualize and explore all that data, right? You're already collecting it. It's a matter of now how do we put it in context and show it to you in a way that's quick and easy to understand. We help you analyze those metrics, automate, provide pretty visuals like those green highways on the right-hand side, and do this in a way that you can rapidly deploy it, get it up and going without being too impactful on your overall MSUs and MIPS. As you get into MOI proper, right, on the next slide, MOI is really, it's a standalone thing. This is something that's purchasable outside of SysU, Netmaster, or the other IT ops tools. And this is really focused on correlation across these different feeds, right? It's about how do we surface issues in more complex situations, such as when does something happen in Netmaster and in Vantage and in Detector now, as an example. And how do we bring those together into issues that you can actually drill down on? For these complex situations, how do we can offer predictions about things happening in the future. We can show you history about where they've actually been doing these kind of things in the past across the different tools that you've been using. The goal here is really helping pinpoint that root cause faster. In most systems nowadays, it's not just something that's happening in CICS or something that's happening in DB2 or something that's happening in your TCP/IP stack or something that's even happening over on distributed. It's somewhere in between where one is impacting the other, and that's where MOI is trying to focus, and doing this for helping not just the experts on your team, but capturing that knowledge so that newer people who come on or people in ops can come in and see what's going on without having to give those system programmers or DBAs a call. And finally, last but definitely not least, we have dynamic capacity intelligence, which is analyzing these trends specific for capacity, right? We're looking at MSUs, your 4-hour rolling average. We're doing some multivariable calculus behind the scenes and looking at how does your workload policies and your caps and your MLC pricing, and how does all that come together so that we can better automate what's happening with your MSU spend and what's happening with adherence to your SLAs. So we're looking at all these different data factors coming in and using automation to help adjust in real time and make those small adjustments to keep you in an optimized state. All about helping you hit that SLA while making sure that we don't break our caps and making sure that we can actually try and bring down some of that cost that we have for things like MLC without having to worry about unplanned peaks, not by moving around workload, but by adjusting capacity levels in a pretty non-invasive way. So those are the three solutions that we tend to talk about in terms of analytics and machine learning. Now I'm going to hand it off to Srini, who can give you a bit of an update on what we've been doing. Srini, off to you.
Thank you, Dave. Welcome everyone for the Intelligent Operations and Automation demonstration. My name is Reggie Watts. I'm part of the product management team working for Mainframes. Today we have our SMEs talking through the latest features that are available to you now from both CA Mainframe Operational Intelligence and CA Dynamic Capacity Intelligence. So we'll be demonstrating shortly on what's new and unique in CA Mainframe Operational Intelligence, one of the features inside streaming, and then CA DB2 detector integration. After that, the machine learning core capabilities that we offer through CA SysView and Netmaster and CA Mainframe Operational Intelligence user experience improvements to the MOI UI solution. Followed by what's new and unique in CA Dynamic Capacity Intelligence, simulation reports and guided customer support, policy extension for set initial CPU wait. These are a bunch of enhancements in the Dynamic Capacity Intelligence we'll walk you through. Towards the end, we open up Q&A session. All the questions and feedback that you placed in the chat window will be addressed. I think Len already guided you how to put chat comments. That's the end of this presentation session. And I would like to thank you for taking time, and I hope you will enjoy the solution demonstration. To kickstart the deep dive sessions, I would request Mohit, one of the product owners, get started with Insights Streaming. Mohit, over to you. You can grab the control and then share your screen.
My name is Mohit, and I'm working as a product owner with CAMOI. And today I'm going to help you understand what we have done in our last release, that is 2002. And so to understand that, I just want to give you an overview what exactly CA is offering as of now with CA Digital Operational Intelligence and CA Mainframe Operational Intelligence, which comes under our CA Operational Intelligence, which is an enterprise-wide operational intelligence. So in this particular presentation, we are going to cover about the Mainframe Operational Intelligence, but why I am talking about the CA Digital Operational Intelligence, because this is what we have enabled using the insight sharing. That's why I need to set up the context why CA Digital Operational Intelligence integration has been done with CA Mainframe Operational Intelligence. So in the last release, that is 2001, what we have done, as you know that CA Mainframe Operational Intelligence as of now takes the metric data from SysView, Netmaster, Vantage, and DB2 Detector, and then after taking those time series data, it applies machine learning algorithms on top of it to generate or find an anomaly condition and generate relevant alarms. Now, those relevant alarms that are generated were actually reduced a lot of data that was fed into the Mainframe Operational Intelligence, and the insights have been generated. So those alarms we call as insights. So in our release 2001, which went in December, so we have integrated the Splunk. So what used to happen if you have already invested on Splunk as a distributed operational intelligence software, and you want to leverage the mainframe insights gathered through the MOI to have an enterprise-wide visibility. So the MOI has a capability or a built-in connector to Splunk, and it can stream all the analytics or all the insights that it has derived from the data, and you can directly put it into the Splunk. Why this has been done? Because Splunk, if you actually start streaming entire data of the mainframe to the Splunk, it is going to be very costly affair. So we have reduced that cost because whatever insights have been generated to MOI, that will be sent directly to the Splunk. Now, what is happening? But in our because we already have a kind of competitor to Splunk that is called CA Digital Operational Intelligence at the distributed side. So during our customer validation, we figured it out that there are customers who are not using Splunk, but they are using DOI, and there has to be an integration. So what we have done, all the insights that we were earlier in the last release sending to the Splunk, we have also started sending it to CA Digital Operational Intelligence. So this is what we have done in the insight sharing, that we have extended the Splunk integration. Now we have a new integration that is called the integration with CA Digital Operational Intelligence. So why this has been done? This has been done to get end-to-end enterprise-wide visibility, because there is one harsh reality that the mainframe and the distributed both cannot be separated. So there are applications which maybe have an interface like a web interface or a mobile interface running on a distributed side, but ultimately the transactions or the main business transactions end at the mainframe. So that was the reason when we during our customer validation, there were a lot of problems that we uncovered, that when a problem or an application which spans across basically we say mobile, or say we can say cloud to mainframe. So in those scenarios, if you have two separate solutions, finding out a root cause, it's a painful task. So during the validation, we figured out that this is a painful task, and that's why we started integrating with Splunk and later with the DOI, which is a Digital Operational Intelligence offering from CA. So to understand this scenario, so what we have done is we have created one kind of a use case. So suppose if we are doing any transaction or an e-commerce transaction, in general, what happens, the transaction starts on a mobile, which is on a distributed side, and it ends, or maybe it ends on a mainframe side. So now we'll take a hypothetical scenario where a payment, when a user is trying to make a payment and the response getting slow. So from this point onward, how L1 operator or how the IT operation guys is going to handle this situation. This is a journey that we are going to talk about. That is issue resolution journey. So there are 4 phases in this journey. So we have listed, like, to encounter, first of all, that there is a problem, then identify phase, then engagement phase, and then finally exit and reflect phase. And these are some of the legends where the IT ops guy is happy, or he's frustrated, or he's a neutral. So what we'll consider that because it's in a mobile application, that means there are web analytics that are getting collected, which tells how the application or app is performing. So as soon as the app is not performing well up to the mark, or so what is going to happen? An alert will be generated in the web analytics side. So web analytic could be maybe a Google Analytic, maybe a mixed panel, or maybe from a CA solution that is called Application Experience Analytics. So once that alert is generated, at this time it's a happy path, because it is going to show you alert properly. But what is going to happen? The identification then starts the identification phase. Now, first of all, because this is the web analytics side is handled by the distributed folks. Now they are going to identify whether this particular application spans across the mainframe, or is it going to end on the distributed side as well only. So what is going to happen in identification phase, because there is no clear visibility across enterprise because of having separate solutions. So there is a little bit pain point in identification whether this application spans across the mainframe or not. Once that phase is over, it enters into the engagement phase. So suppose this application ends at the mainframe side. Now this is a more painful phase of engagement, because now you need to convince this mainframe folks stating that this seems to be a problem at the mainframe side. So can you please look into that? Sometimes you raise the service tickets to get it resolved within the company. These things happen. And that's why it's a painful area. And finally, once that problem is identified and it is solved, and again, it's a happy path that you exit and then reflect back what is the problem, update your knowledge base, stating that how to solve these problems in the future. So what we have done when we were analyzing this entire journey, we found that there are 2 interesting phases, that is identify and engage phase, where we are going to put our focus, because this is the most painful area. And in that also, we have figured out only on a couple of areas, not on all. So we started with that we found that there is a problem that there is no visibility across enterprise. That means we don't have a single view of both mainframe and distributed alerts. And switching between multiple interfaces to identify the root cause is also taking time, and the collaboration itself is also a pain point. So we focused only on these areas in our last release. So we came up that instead of having these 2 phases, we need to come up with a phase called single pane of glass. And it is going to do. It is not going to completely remove the manual coordination or the pain point, but it is going to lessen that load. And now what is going to happen if you are having a digital operational intelligence setup or a Splunk setup in your organization, and your application spans across mobile or a cloud to mainframe, you can see the alerts in a single pane, that is at the Splunk or the digital operational intelligence. And using, because I can talk about the digital operational intelligence, we do have very strong machine learning algorithms which can correlate both mainframe as well as distributed alerts and find out the root cause of that alert, so that it will significantly reduce the identification phase. So this is what we have done in our current release. So going forward, we have a kind of a vision that instead of earlier, if you see here, it was encounter. So it is kind of a reactive approach. So we are thinking that how can we even move into a prediction where we will be predicting those alerts. So depending upon the data that we are getting collected for the web analytics, we are going to use our machine learning investment and to figure it out how can we basically predict that this is going to happen rather than having a reactive approach. So this is the overall issue resolution journey and what we have done. So now I'll basically move to a demo. If you have any questions, I'll take that first before moving to a demo. Okay. So this is the interface of one of the CA product that is Digital Operation Intelligence, and we have Mainframe Operation Intelligence. So what I'm going to show here is, suppose I am a IT operation guy who is going to monitor an application which is spanning from cloud to mainframe. So what I can do, I can go in alarms and I can see all the alarms that are being generated. So this is a little bit old data because we don't have a ready setup. So I'm just going to show you some old data here. So what is going to happen here? So we can see here that it is showing that there is a service called payment. So this payment service has multiple alarms, but this is the root cause of that problem. So here it shows that KICS region and DB2 alarms were fed in from the mainframe, and there is an application called Acme, which is a fictitious application that we are using in this use case, is a root cause of the problem, because this sign actually shows the root cause, which was done by the digital operation machine learning algorithms. So once you fed in all the data from the mainframe operation intelligence, it is going to be correlated with the distributed operation intelligence, and a root cause will be identified using machine learning. And if a user wants to drill down on a particular, say a particular alert, and you want to see that this alert is coming from the MOI because it is mainframe related stuff, and I'm in the distributed UI, how can I see what is the problem? At least at the high level, he can click on the alert URL, and it is going to land you to the mainframe operation intelligence and going to show you the same alert along with the green highway, which is going to show when the alert was generated and what were the conditions. So this way, at least we are going to reduce the pain point and reduce the triaging effort that is put in current environment. So that's it from my side. If you have any questions, I am happy to answer. So Srini, otherwise back to you.
Okay, thank you, Mohit. We would like to know if there are any questions from what Mohit has covered from inside streaming.
There aren't any questions right now in the Q&A box, but as a reminder, folks, if you have any questions, please use the Q&A box right in the WebEx. If you are on the phone line and you have a question, please feel free to hit #6 to unmute your line. We'll just ask that you go back on mute after you're done. Thank you.
Okay, everyone. My name is Jeff Gross. I'm next up on the slides here. And please ask Mohit any questions. I'm going to be talking about one of the new sources that's feeding MOI, and that's from SQL Transaction Data from the Detector product. So here's our title slide. Once again, I'm Jeff Gross. I'm a product owner in the DB2 Tools performance space here at CA. And let's move forward, Srini. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about, just to go back and talk about the purpose of Detector, show you a good use case of why you want to use Detector with MOI. And I'm going to just briefly talk about how it's easy to extract data from MOI, which metrics we are analyzing, and then do a little commercial for our new browser interface. And I promise I'll be less than 10 minutes. All right, let's move forward here. training. So Detector's philosophy, this is a product that's about 25 years old. This is back in the heyday of DB2's reign, and which I might say DB2 is still very, very much used in today's market, as you probably all know. So Detector's out there, and it's collecting metrics on SQL. And it's collecting all the metrics on SQL, and that's one of the beauties of it, is it can collect much more metrics on SQL than the IFI type interfaces. And the outcome from that is that we can easily see which SQL has consumed what resources, whether that's CPU or I/O. And so let's move to the next screen, and I'll give you a little taste of what that looks like in Detector. So here's a screen print from Detector, and I've highlighted that we're looking at a display that would have 4,016 lines of SQL that have run. And this is just a small system that we have that we use running customer-based workloads. And you can see that the one SQL statement that I've highlighted is using about 9.5% of the overall CPU, and the other SQL statements are using in the 9 to 3% range. And so we can easily see which specific SQL uses what resources, or whether it's CPU or, like I said, get pages. But you have to go and look for it. Nothing's going to automatically alert you and learn what that workload is. And that's what MOI does. So let's go to the next screen. So as we talked about with Mainframe Operational Intelligence, the idea is of this automatic monitoring and learning. And now we can really easily be alerted to when SQL is out of the norm. Next slide, please. And here's a screen print. You saw a little bit of this on Mohit's presentation, and Dave talked about this also in his introduction. So this is the alarms page. Wish the screen print was a little bit larger here. Sorry about that. And but what I'm highlighting is a DB2 CPU plan that's gone out of bounds, and you can see it down on the green highway that it's spiked up. And when you highlight that spike, it will tell you what date and time and work unit of DB2. Thank you, Srini, for highlighting that box in the bottom there. And then you can take that information and go back to our operational system and look in more detail. And let's go to the next slide. And you can see here that highlighted value from the prior screen is I've highlighted here in Detector itself. And you can see that I've brought up a historical display that's in Detector. But I have no way of easily being automated that this get page plan had gone out of bounds. But you can see that there's other correlating metrics with the NDB2 time and the get pages that have gone higher over the last few hours here that we were doing this workload. So this is the great thing that MOI can automatically monitor these workloads and let you know when a workload has gone out of bounds. So let's go down to the next slide, Srinivas. So real quick, I'm just going to tell you that the way we get the data from Detector into MOI is with a simple batch job that is run at the top of every collection interval. Let's go to the next slide. And so data is collected in Detector via historical intervals. And I'm showing a screen display here that SQL metrics have been aggregated at every 15-minute time frame. So at every 15-minute time frame, we'll have a job that will kick off and take that latest interval and move it to MOI. And once MOI has learned enough of the workload, it can then start alerting. So let's go into the next slide. We'll show that. So you can see here, if you've been around MOI for a while, that we've gone from the learning mode, which is the green thatched highway, into a solid green highway, which means we now know what the workload is, and we can start doing alerts. And just to emphasize, the real beauty of this is now you don't have to manually create these thresholds. For the thousands of plans and packages that can run in your shop, all these thresholds can be automatically created for each and one of those. So it would have been very prohibitive to do it manually in the past, probably impossible. All right, next screen. Here's a quick look at the metrics we're shipping down there. I won't go through them in detail, but we're doing 9 total metrics and 8 SQL average metrics, and they're for our plan and package level of SQL. I'll also put in a plug for our SysU for DB2 product. They're pushing down 33 system metrics. So not only can you get metrics from DB2 SQL, but from DB2 system information too. Let's go to the next screen. To get more information about which metrics are being pushed on the MOI, you can go out to our DocOps Center and look up, we provided a link here in the presentation. So you can go out there and see exactly which metrics are out there and then a description of those metrics. Let's go to the next screen, please. So this extract from Detector, like I said, it was just a simple batch job. It became available June 25th of this year, and it's this PTF number, which is SO04129. And next screen. And here's my little advertisement here. So we also released back in April of this year a browser interface to Detector. So the same information you can see on the green screens, you can see a lot more of it in this browser interface. And we're looking to do what we call a deep linking to join the two UIs between MOI and Detector. So instead of what I showed earlier about highlighting or reading that alert that came on the green highway and then having to go back manually and look at it in Detector on the green screen, we eventually want you to be able to just click on that alert and you'll be able to come back into this browser interface and see the 150 or so detailed metrics of that workload and get more information there on that problem. Next slide, please. And you can learn more about our Mainframe Team Center DB2 Performance Analysis product, which is the Detector Browser, at this DocOps link. And like I said, to get this product downloaded, if you're a Detector user, all this availability or capability is available today and usable with your license. This is that extract into MOI and the Detector Browser interface. And Dave Myers, I know you're on the line there. I want to call on you, if I can, to talk a little bit about the Detector integration into MOI and make sure we're giving accurate information to our customers here. If I remember right, this is the viewing of the Detector data is part of, once you buy MOI, it's part of that core capability. Am I correct?
Correct.
And
so we have we have an ingestion API that's part of your MOI purchase, and that ingestion API is what Detector integrates into. So as long as you have both this functions, no additional purchases required.
Awesome. Thanks for confirming that, Dave. That's what I thought. Just want to make sure we were being accurate. Okay, Srini, next slide, and I think we're done.
Yep.
All right. I think I made my 10-minute limit too. So any questions for me, please? And if not today, you can see my contact information. Please feel to drop me an email at jeff.gross@ca.com, and I will gladly answer any questions or inquiries. Thank you much for your time today.
Great. Thank you, Jeff. Thanks for going through DB2 digital integration. Let's move on to the next demonstration. This is Reggie Watts. You can call me Srini, and I'm going to demonstrate user experience improvements that we introduced as part of Mainframe Operational Intelligence. Right. So there are broadly 3 different use cases that I'm going to show you. The first one is the Sherman, who is our persona for L1 mainframe analyst, needs to quickly navigate to the alert analysis page so that he can actually look at the alarms that are open, closed, and then go on towards the back. Similarly, the next use case, Sherman should be able to easily identify the alerts in the green highway and correlate them what alerts are presented in the alert panel. It should be really quick so that the analysis can be done and corrective action can be taken. That's the second use case. And the third one, Sharma and then Sheila, both are L1, L2, and they have their daily job in monitoring various mainframe subsystem alerts that are coming into the system. And after a quarter, if they want to create the reports and dashboards, and they should be able to create their own personalized reports and dashboards, right? So we were introducing personalized reports and dashboards, privacy, so that users can create their own reports and only they can view those reports. Let me share my browser UI, the Mainframe Operational Intelligence application. I'm sure you are seeing my screen that I shared. This is a MOI Mainframe Operational Intelligence user interface, wherein we presented all the alerts, and you are now seeing the alert console. And this actually shows the alerts that are happening now. These alerts are all open alerts. And if you look at the UI, what version it is version 2.0.2 that we released towards end of the June last month, and it's out there. And coming to the enhancements, when compared to the March release, which is 2.0.1 service update, and the current release 2.0.2, you see a new option introduced here, alert analysis. When I click on this option, then this particular page is going to land into all alerts that Mainframe Operational Intelligence has been connected. There are various subsystems. Currently, the system is connected to SysView metrics, NetMaster metrics, DB2 metrics, and similarly, we have a bunch of SMF records metrics also coming into the Operational Intelligence, and by applying the advanced machine learning algorithms and techniques, it has been identified certain alerts. And you see, you can scroll down, and you can see here all the open and closed alerts. If you go down further, you will see those closed alerts as well. Now, outside of this particular enhancement, let me quickly jump into one of the metrics. For instance, if it is job CPUT percentage, wherein this metric alert is going to show an abnormality, a spike in the alert, in the metric value for the CPU usage percentage total, right? And if you look at this particular metric part right now, an improvement has been done here, wherein earlier you used to see all the labels that are prepended, and still you see those labels here in the tooltip. Similarly, in the green highway as well, you were able to see the labels appended and prepended. Whereas in the actual value, when as a user, when I am monitoring various subsystem alerts, I should be able to see from which subsystem, LPAR, and which job against this particular alert has been detected here, right? So to allow that ease of understanding, we were truncated the labels that are repetitive here. That's one of the improvements. And similarly, when I selected this particular alert, and the respective green highway has been shown here, and the green highways are the core crux of the Mainframe Operational Intelligence here, if you study it properly at the time of analysis, right? So the green highways represent the proactive alerting, because the bands that you are seeing here, the common, probable, rare, these bands are actually plotted a week ahead of time, so that in the live stream data that is coming in, the metrics that are flowing into the system right now are placed into those bands to identify if a certain metric value is going beyond the common and getting into probable, then it's a cell 3. And if it is going beyond the probable range, then it is cell 2, and beyond the rare, which is this lighter green area beyond the rare, then it is cell 1, right? So we have covered all this in our earlier demonstration. So I do not want to get into that. Let's talk about what's the improvement that we have made. When you look at this particular alert, and this alert started at 9:05 in the start time from the tooltip, right? So to easily identify where this alert has been shown in the green highway, and prior to that, how the metric data is flowing in, earlier it is quite cumbersome to identify, whereas right now we made it very clear, because with just 30 minutes before or within 1 hour range, we are zooming in the green highways and then presenting it to you, so that you don't need to zoom in, you don't need to set a specific alert, and you don't need to get into troublesome situations to review where is the various this particular alert bubble and everything. You simply correlate looking at this particular tooltip in the alert panel and correlate that easily back to the green highways, and then look at how this particular behavior of a metric has been shown here and take corrective action. And moving to the next one, which is very important, because we made it simple, setting the alerts and then setting the metrics, because the MOI is connected to SysView metrics, MOI is connected to NetMaster metrics, and also MOI is also getting metrics from SMS records onboarded, right, for the CPU activity, for the workload activity. So all these metrics are coming in, and it is difficult to go through, select a metric from the explore and analyze, and then go through actually kicks IMS DB2 various metric categories, and then select a specific metric for analysis to get into the alert analysis page, right? So right now what we did is you can pick any of the metrics from the alert analysis, and then you simply switch it on the show selected metric alerts. So for this particular metric context part, what are the alerts that system has detected? You can quickly get into this by selecting the metric itself. You no need to go through the differential analysis and then get into all the metric selection and to get into view selected metric alerts right now. So it's much more simplified. You get into alert analysis, wherein you are presented with all the alerts by default, and if you want to see only a specific metric alerts as a group, you can click on. Right now I'm having only one alert against this metric, that's why I could able to see only one alert. And if you want to go back and look at all the alarms against all metrics, you can switch it off, and then you'll be presented with rest of the alerts against the metrics. And moving to the next one, if you filter the issue alert, in our earlier release in the 2.20 and then 2.01 release that we did in last December, and then in the recent this year March update, using the clustering advanced algorithms, we introduced the issue alert, and this issue alert is a group of all the alerts that are occurring at the same time, so that we don't need to, as a user, I don't need to correlate the various alerts that are happening in the various subsystems, and all are presented as a single issue alert. And there's a small enhancement wherein if this alert occurred in past, earlier we used to show from the past as the first, whereas right now the most recent activity will be shown so that you know this alert happened when in past, right? So that way it is easily identifiable. Then let's move on to the next important use case and enhancement that we brought in, that's related to reports. And by the way, I would like to tell you as a minor note, this particular report space where we present all the default reports, out-of-the-box reports that you can leverage. A session timeout has been implemented here. And now coming back to the personalized reports and dashboards functionality. And as a user, L1 persona, right, like Sharman is our L1 persona and Sheila is our L2 persona that we consider like when we demonstrate and implement the solution. So both the personas are having a different mainframe subsystems to monitor. That's their like day on job, and for that they need to create various reports. Earlier everything was made public. Right now with the 2002 release, we introduced personalized reports and dashboards. Now let me get into a specific report by the demo user. Right now you look at, I logged in with a demo user, and then with the demo user, there is a demo CPU busy report, and I'm just loading the report at present. This is CPU busy percentage against an LPAR MSTR SVW, and against the processor CP, one of the processors in that LPAR CP processor. And let me go to the options and select this option and click on apply. When you look at the options, this particular report is against the LPAR MSTR SVW, one of the CPU CP, and for the last quarter, what's the utilization, right? And when I click on apply and OK, and you are seeing that the CPU percentage across last quarter has been shown here, and on 3rd of May, like the utilization is high. Right? This is one of the reports, and this report is a private report, and it is created by demo user. And I would like to tell you how you can create reports and save them as a personal reports, right? To improve, like to access only by you. So when you save the reports or ad hoc views or dashboards for that matter, you need to open like in this particular dialog of save, you need to get into a specific username folder. Right now I logged into the MOI UI with demo user, and you need to expand this and save this particular report into respective username folder. Once you save that in the respective username folder, the report is right now no longer visible to rest of the users from your mainframe shop, right? And I will show you that in a moment by logging in another user. Let me get into the dashboards, and here various predefined dashboards out of the box are made available to you. And let me check one of the dashboards for the demo user, which is a public dashboard that I'm bringing in. I just added to the tab, and then let's navigate to the public dashboard. And this dashboard by name public, in the sense it will be available to rest of the users. However, this particular dashboard has got one private report, and at the same time it also got another public report here, the roll-up demo report. So this particular private report is for the demo user, as he is responsible for certain viewers' jobs, and he created against the viewers various CPUs and what's the workload summary, right? And in the other hand, the roll-up demo report, let me expand this. This is public report that's made available to everyone, and this is going to show the CPU percentage average across a period of time against the subsystem MSTR, SVW, LPAR, and plotting various CPUs, CP percentage utilization. And now, let me get into another user, log out and then log in with IT Manager. And right now, I'm into another user. And then quickly check the reports and see if there is any demo CPU report, CPU percentage utilization report. There is no such report that's visible, except that there is a roll-up demo report, which is a public report that's available, right? So IT Manager, as another user logged in, can't be able to see the reports that are created or personalized by the demo user. Let me get into the dashboards quickly and then check. By default, IT Manager has got system metrics, public dashboard, and let us see the public dashboard created by demo user is visible or not. Yeah, this is visible. You see that the demo public dashboard is visible here. I'm just adding it to a tab. It's visible here. Let's launch the dashboard right now and then see one of the report is private and another one is a public report. The public report is a roll-up, a demo report which is made visible, right? And because by nature of this report against the same LPAR and both demo and then IT Manager are responsible for monitoring various CPUs within the LPAR. That's where this particular report is made as public. However, at the same time, there is another report specific to demo user, and that report is made as private. That's why IT Manager users can't be able to view, and it's clearly saying that you don't have permission to view this visualization, right? So this indicates that this report is private to demo user. So with that, I'm going to conclude the user experience improvements, and we want to thank you for participating, some of the customers in our sprint reviews, similarly passing on the feedback to our field folks. At the same time, I would like to highlight a couple of items wherein the important point here I would like to mention is in both alert console and alert analysis, all these user experience improvements have been made available in 2.0.2 release. Similarly, when you navigate any of these alert panels, you will see quickly landing into the alerts, whereas when compared to our March release, this release that we did in last month has got significant performance improvements. So hence, we request you to upgrade if you have already MOI 2.0.1, get into 2.0.2 for greater performance. At the same time, the appliance performance and certain the microservices memory consumption has been enhanced. So you will see greater impact and the utilization and greater user experience. All these are going to bring it to you. So with that note, I would like to move to the questions and answers. If you have any questions, please do let us know. Otherwise, we will quickly jump into the next demonstration. Any questions?
I still don't see any questions out there, so I think we can go ahead and continue.
Okay, so I would like to invite Hugo, who is a product owner, going to go through with his team the dynamic capacity intelligence enhancements. Hugo, please take the control.
Thank you very much. So, yeah, hello, I'm Hugo Banks, product owner for Dynamic Capacity Intelligence. So, I'm conscious that some might not be aware on this call of, they might not have heard of Dynamic Capacity Intelligence before. So, here is the very, very of what we do. You're on this call, you'll be, if you're using a mainframe, you will be using IBM monthly license charge software, which means paying IBM quite a lot of money. And you'll be paying, we're taking their peak of their rolling 4-hour average for every month. Now, the question is, does every job that you have running really have to run right then? Is there anything that we can do to move that peak in a downward direction? So what we do with Dynamic Capacity Intelligence is the first thing is that we monitor your system, the whole system, in real time, and actual MSU usage. In real time, the bit asterisk on there, that is that we take a snapshot every 5 minutes because that is what IBM does to build your SCRT. Beyond that, we then go to understand what your workload importance is, how important that workload is, and we do that by taking what you have defined in your workload manager policy. So we take your definitions, what you've defined as important and not important. We understand that, and we do that in real time. We show you everything that we take, all the information that we gather in real time, we send to our GUI, and so you can see what's going on your complete system in real time. And then to the business end, what we then do usefully with that information is we manage the ZOS tools of the defined capacity on LPARs and the group capacity limits, and we dynamically change those limits based on what you tell us. You tell Dynamic Capacity Intelligence, you tell us what's important, what we can move, and then we will dynamically move to ensure that the high priority workload is the only stuff that's working when the pricing peak is likely to come out. So anything in the lower priority workload might get slightly deferred to keep your monthly license as low as it can be. And at the same time, you can always define what is and isn't to be capped, so you can what we do particularly is by providing the visibility is we give you the opportunity not just to save a bit of money from IBM, but more importantly to actually put more workload onto your machines, knowing that it will not increase any cost because you can schedule that workload. It will not be the cause of a new pricing peak because you know what that is because you can see it all. Okay, that's Dynamic Capacity Intelligence, the very short version. How we do that, there is much more, and we welcome anyone to get in touch if you'd like to know more about Dynamic Capacity Intelligence. So, down into the details here, we've three things that we have livened up in our latest version. So the first thing that we're going to have a look at is our simulation reports. One feature of Dynamic Capacity Intelligence is that at any stage you can run your DCI policy. You can run in simulation mode, which means that we gather all of the data, we do all of the calculations, we work out exactly what's going on, we do everything except actually set capacity limits, which means that you can see in advance of setting a policy, you can see what it would do to your system. And now, in addition to having the basics, we now show that in our graphic user interface. And Yasminka will now join me to show you what that looks like.
Yeah, just a moment. I would like to introduce myself very briefly. My name is Yasminko Milicevic, and I'm a software developer for the DCI graphic user interface and part of the DCI development team. Now I want to share my screen, and here we see the Dynamic Capacity Intelligence graphic user interface. And let's go to the simulation reports. As Hugo mentioned, as the name suggests, the simulation reports simulate various values. Many customers would like to know how the system would behave if various values were changed. And during operation, it's difficult to constantly change the policy values to testing and to see how the system behaves. For this reason, there are the simulation reports. And here in the report selection, we have at the bottom the new simulation section. In total, we have here the 4 new simulation reports. We have here the system overview and the simulation CG means capacity group report. The simulation CPC means central process complex report, and the CMP, the country multiplex pricing simulation report. The simulation reports are like our other reports, but as I said, there's one big difference. The values displayed are calculated, simulated values on the basis of probabilities. The first one is the system report, and we have here the new simulation reports, the green one, and the blue one, the defined capacity and the capping for our average. I will use the filtering now only to show the simulation reports, and we have here the green one and the blue one, and the same goes for the capacity group simulation report. And on the first one I can of course change the systems here, and the views are changing of course. And the third one is the CPC report. I have here only the simulation capping for our average report, and the same goes for the CMP report. Yeah, in principle, that was all I can say and show about the simulation reports, and that was all from my side. And if there are any questions.
Okay, thanks, Jasminko. Oh, go on.
Let's move on to the next one, next enhancement. Yep.
Okay. So, well, we'll move rapidly on to second improvement. So, we're conscious that we're obviously dealing with quite a lot of, well, we're dealing with, and that is not particularly an easy subject for anyone, I think. So we often get questions about what DCI is doing. It means that often you have to go through our support system, and that will often ask or provide quite a lot of system data and recent data so that we can analyze your question, analyze what your system has been doing, make sure that the calculations are done correctly. And that results in a lot of going forwards and backwards generating dumps and reports and a lot of stuff. So we do still need that data. So what we have done is we've created a procedure which will do that for you. So that we have, at the moment, we have two procedures that you can run. We will go away, collect the data for you, exactly the data that we need. That is it will go and collect that data for you, and we include a packaging procedure that will then package that data so that you get to simply run the procedures, get the data file, send us the data file, job is done. And Rainer, I hope, will be joining me to show us how that works.
Can everybody hear me? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, then let's introduce myself. I was doing the support for DCI and Set Price Manager in the past for Set IT, and I moved to the development department some weeks ago. And now I want to show you the DCI guided customer support. Here you can see the main panel. In theory, we have three parts. The first one is allocating the library where all the collected data is stored. With that GCL, you can do that. You can type in a name you want, just a GCL header, and the size of it. Then the GCL will be shown to you, and this can then be submitted by the customer, and the library will be allocated. And in the second part, you can extract all applied PTFs. So the data we extract is always in the same format. We extract the data, terse it, and then we store it on the library. So I think we make it very easy, and the data is not so big that it will be explode everything. So here, for example, you can type in the zone name and the environment where DCI is stored. Then, as before, you will have the GCL, and this can be submitted by the customer. The second is we have a central base for DCI. It's called the MSU database, and with this function, it can be extracted to the support library too. You can edit also a date from which part you want to extract the data, maybe from January to February, and then extract it to the library. So the last thing is, so that the third part is, we have now our library, and how can we take this library to us? So we XMIT the library, so we have just one file left, and this file can be sent to us in binary FB80 format. That's it. Do you have any questions?
Oh, okay. Thank you, Ron. I think what we'll do, I'll crack straight on with the next, and then we'll take questions at the end. Okay, so now I'm afraid due to ill health, it's me next. Let me do the share screen thing. There we go. Right. So our third improvement of DCI, and this is quite a significant one we like to think, is that, shall we say, an advanced feature of tuning your system and really getting the maximum performance out of your system in terms of pricing, is to be able to set CPU initial weighting. You can, again, this is like defined capacities. IBM provides this as a manual job that you can do. But it struck us that it makes an awful lot of sense that if you're running a particular policy, then you will have particular, you might want to set CPU weighting based on the specifics of that policy. When you change policy, for example, it's normal to have a workday policy and then a weekend policy. At your weekends, you'll probably be using your system in a very different way for more testing and other non-production activities. And why not be able to automate that, have DCI through its policy actually change the CPU weighting with each policy so that you no longer have to, you can get the benefits of different CPU weightings with each policy without having to go in and do that yourself. So we applied this as what we call a policy extension. Those familiar with DCI will know this is the last line of we have added an extension, the extension ID demo weight 299. So what we're doing in this specific instance here, I'm going to show you, is because it's our system and our system programmers don't particularly like us throwing the CPU weighting around large numbers, we've taken it from 299 and we're changing it to 300. So I'll show you how this goes. So we have a policy. The policy extension will work once at the initiation of the policy. So when the policy starts, it will require the extension that it requires a CPU set weight. And as the policy comes up, it will send the instruction to applied. So we can see here what you'll see new is we now have the option in the policies list, so you can list your So here is our policy extension. As you can see, we're going to fire up the demo weight 299. That is then applied to your whichever policy. So you can apply material for extensions to your different policies. Go in the policy script, you can see now that we have the extent there as part of the demo 8299 in this case. So when we started, we run this, started the controller again, and it took up the new policy, and we can see that it is processing that. So here we can see, here we're going from 299, we're going to go back to 300. We can see there is 299. Here I can show you, this is, here are the messages in the job output. So you can see we've got the wait request, set wait request, and that goes to the HMC, and the HMC sets the weights. And in the end, as you can see, we have set the weight now to 300. So that is the way that the process would work in real life for yourselves. Like I say, you can attach additional different values to an extension to each policy so that you get even more out of the tuning capacity of your DCI policy. That is all I have for you from Dynamic Capacity Intelligence. Welcome to answer questions if there are any.
Thank you, Hugo. If there are any questions, please do let us know.
I don't see any questions, guys. I think we can keep moving forward.
Yeah. So, Len, could you please make me presenter?
Yep.
Somehow I'm unable to share my screen.
There you go.
Okay. Okay. So I do have certain updates. Quickly, we'll wrap up this session in next 15 to 20 minutes. I do have some important updates for you. The first one is related to the validation. And we have several users getting benefited by joining into our validations, validate.ca.com. We request you to join as a partner and start partnering with us to offer your early feedback on CA Mainframe Operational Intelligence and similarly CA Dynamic Capacity Intelligence, the new capabilities. So once you are part of the members as our validation, you will get certain benefits, right? So you can provide the feedback during the live sprint reviews that we invite you. And similarly, you will get access to our pre-GR materials. You also have opportunities to hands-on test drives and then say what's working, what's not working to us. Similarly, on the like on-prem and CA hosted systems, you can do this validation. And if you are further moving ahead, we also work with you closely to take the historical performance metrics from you, and we load that data into our instance, and then we'll play back and we show the intelligent embedded like outcomes, and then show the greater insights of mainframe operational intelligence. Moving to the next one, the trials out there. It's been in this year, early this year, we made the trials out, and we have several users taking this advantage. You can try out operational intelligence, and it is hosted on our trial environment. You can register for trial, get access momentarily. Quickly in a couple of minutes, you'll get the access to the MOI UI URL, and also start using it with our preloaded data to help understand the product features and functionalities. For instance, in the last month we delivered 2002. We'll make this very soon made available in our trial environment. And this is a good step to understand the product, and we got certainly positive feedback, and we want you to leverage the same. And for that, you no need to stand up any hardware at your end. So it's really very quick. Get into our CA portal and then search for Mainframe Operational Intelligence, get into trials. And I do want to announce certain upcoming customer events. There are 3 events. The first one, Mainframe Virtual Summit, is now available on demand 24/7 to you. This will give lots of opportunities for our mainframe customers to learn about mainframe operational intelligence, dynamic capacity intelligence, and products like SysView and the existing IT operation solutions. We opened our Mainframe Virtual Summit environment with an event last month on 26th of June, and that environment is perpetually available for all year long. We encourage you to look at the environment, and there are links to it from our CA portal, ca.com/mainframe. There are tools in there and practices, videos, and get the education material that gets updated throughout the year. You will get latest and greatest information. Check it out just as if you are attending a training shop. And the next is Share coming in. We have Share coming up in August. In Share, we have over 20 sessions in either technical track or a vendor sponsoring that will cover education material, again, on the topics, IT operational solutions, machine learning, and what's the latest and greatest in DevOps, security, those other areas as well. We encourage you to come into expert door right up front, and we would love to talk to you. Also, if you would like to meet one-on-one with our executives, both Greg Lotko, General Manager, Mainframe Business Unit, and Hayden Lindsay, our Senior VP of Engineering, Mainframes, will be there. We will be more than happy to meet you one-to-one and talk about products you use, your vision, and we encourage you to contact your account manager so that they will get that set up for you. We really hope that we meet you at St. Louis for Share. Following after that, in November, we have CA World event, and this year that has been moved to Miami, right? So you will have pre-conference education sessions, and which will include a deep dive and roadmaps and educational sessions on the IT operations portfolio and the broader portfolio as well. You can attend those, get one-to-ones on the call on all of that functionality, and then during the night event at the expo area and off the floor, we will continue with the sessions. So you will get a lot of information about the latest and greatest topics, ranging from machine learning, augmented intelligence, and talking here to things around whether it is blockchain or the latest database enhancements, what we are doing around that. So there is a brochure online available that you can go pick it up and then look at all the sessions we offer, and then which one map to your role, and then what you might be able to do during the weekend time there at CA World at Miami in November, right? So why to wait? I think more excitement is made available. CA portal, just not showing it to you. It's now happening at Miami in November. Okay, so with that, I would like to switch to the Q&A session. Over to you, Len.
All right, thanks again, Srinivas. Thanks very much. So as a reminder, excuse me, please use the Q&A box right in the WebEx if you have any questions, or if you are on the phone line, I invite you at this point to hit #6 to unmute your line.
I don't see any questions so far.
No, I don't see any either, so I think we can go ahead and wrap up. Srinivas, thank you very much for coordinating this. I know it's not easy to do. And to all of our other presenters, thank you very much. And of course, to our attendees as well, thank you for taking the time today to join us and hear about this this solution combination. I'm hopeful that we'll be able to get a replay of this session up in the community at some point in the next week or so. But so keep an eye out for that. And with that, have a great day, everybody.
Yep. Thank you so much for your time. I think we hope that see value in what have presented today. Please send us feedback by connecting to CA communities, as just Len mentioned, or directly send us an email. So have a great day wherever you are across the world, across the globe. Thank you.